Welcome to Nerd Initiative. I'm LJ.
And then when?
And today we're going to be talking about the most popular movie at the cinemas currently, Wicked Part 1. So we are going to give some disclaimers at the beginning because everybody has their own experiences with the show. Some people have read the book, some people have seen the show, some people are going into it completely blind. So at least you'll know our experience and where we're coming from with our review. So I personally have not read the book. I have sang all of the songs for 20 plus years. And I have seen the stage show, but I have not read the book. So anything new from the show, I will not have known ahead of time.
I mean, I read the book, it was like 10 years ago, but...
So he has read the book. Have you seen the show?
Yes. I mean, the movie, not the...
Have you seen the musical?
No.
Okay, so have not read the book, have seen the musical, has read the book, has not seen the musical. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get our initial impressions underway. So I'm just going to leave you with my first word coming out of the theater was wow. It is not often, especially after a movie musical, that I am exiting the theater with the utmost of glee. Of course, I'm always excited to see my favorite musicals represented in movies, but here lately they've been, well, we'll say less than ideal versions of them. But no, I was super happy with how this movie came out, and I think that the budget helped, but also the talent helped, and we'll get more into that later. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It's probably one of my top movies now.
Yeah.
And that's big coming from me because I'm not as into the musical stuff as you are.
Yeah, well, I'm into musical just a little bit. But no, especially compared to like the Dear Evan Hansen movie, for instance, that came out at the beginning of this year, or it came out last year. Mean Girls was this year.
Yeah.
Mean Girls was okay. It was enjoyable. I liked it for what it was. They very much took some veers from the musical version and made it a little bit more pop, which I thought was interesting. But no, and the Dear Evan Hansen one was just not great. And I love both of those shows. So that was my expectation going into seeing Wicked.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to say that it exceeds all expectations. And it was, in my opinion, it is the best stage to screen adaptation that I have seen.
I mean, just overall, the movie was great. I can't say anything about the stage play, but I mean,
musical.
But yeah, this movie was amazing. Like, I was just really impressed, which is crazy for me to think that. I did not think that I was going to go into it even caring.
Yeah. Well, now you care. Emphasis on the witch hat. So going into production design, costume design, and all of that, I thought that they did a really good job discovering Oz in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the sets were fantastic. I really liked how they used them in the scenes, and especially with the choreography. I thought that they did some neat things with it. Costuming, I thought it was... I really liked that people from all of the different lands, like Munchkin Land or Oz or etc., they all looked unique. So you can kind of see where these people came from, where those people came from. And they all kind of had their own flavor, which I really enjoyed that. It gave a lot of variety to the movie, which is important because otherwise the movie would just be one giant shiny emerald. And it was nice to be able to see where each of those characters would be coming from.
Yeah, the detail in their outfits and just the props, I guess, or their surroundings. Just the world is very like unique to itself.
Yeah, and it's very well realized.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and I loved every little bit, attention to detail. Like Glinda's, there was always some sort of like poof incorporated with
As
Glinda's.
it should be. She should always
Yeah.
have shoulder poofs.
And it was just interesting even to see how they did that in every one of her costumes and how different and creative that was even.
Yeah, I also making these costumes, especially the Wicked Witch, was an impossible task because it's been done to death. It has been done so many times, and making it something fresh, but also something that's exciting and fun. I really liked, and especially like the frills on the witch hat, I thought were a nice touch. Not just making it a generic witch hat, but stuff like that, stuff that they didn't have to include, but you can tell that this definitely came from a place of passion.
Yeah, it was down to like things on people's desks. Like you could look at just an object, and be like, "Oh yeah, that probably came from the Emerald City."
Yeah,
Like you could see the differences in every area, even down to
everything was inspired by something.
It's really awesome.
Yes, and I mean, going down the path of everything having passion behind it, I thought that not only the cast but the behind the scenes talent also, you could tell, had a lot of passion with it. John Chu, the director, did an amazing job. He had an impossible task with this movie, and he delivered lightning in a bottle somehow. Um, but no, one thing I did really appreciate was how the queer community pretty much has held up the musical Wicked for over 20 years and are a big reason that it's so successful. And like just the little direction decisions and choreography decisions that, okay, we are going to include queer elements in this and not shy away from it, and really just be make this movie unapologetically a love letter to all of the fans that have made it so successful over the years. I thought was really cool.
That's kind of how the book is too, in a way. There's undertones of that, of queerness in the book even.
Well, there might have been undertones in the book, but there were overtones in the movie. It was definitely there, and I was a little whew. But
well, the book was written in like 1993 or something like that, so.
Well, listen, I was also written in 1993, and I have queer overtones. But going on to cast, so let's talk about our leading ladies. Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande. Who you want to start with? What do you want to say? I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I want to say I can't pick because they were both so great for different reasons. The Wicked Witch.
I'll say let's just start as the one you're dressed
as. The Wicked Witch. Yeah, let's go with her. She she just nailed it. Just all her little quirky things that she added to it, like when her and Glinda was driving each other crazy and she'd just pop up and scare her or something.
Yeah.
It was just the nuance between them she really sold.
And a lot of it was actually improvised. And when they recorded a lot of the songs in solidarity to the people that have been performing the musical, a lot of that was live vocals that they were recording. So I think that was pretty cool, and definitely you can tell a difference.
Yeah, she brought it when it needed to be slightly comical, and then she really brought it when it needed to be dramatic.
Yeah, no, I think that all in all, her voice was a good contribution to this movie, because we're all used to Idina Menzel, so having somebody that is just an Idina Menzel impersonator would not have worked for me personally.
Yeah, she brought a lot to the character.
Well, one thing I really liked was Idina Menzel has a very stereotypical musical theater voice. It's very bright and pingy, and it does sound like a Wicked Witch, and so having Cynthia Erivo's voice be a little bit softer but just as powerful, I think actually added more to it for me.
Yeah,
because it helped you actually sympathize with the character, not see her just as a Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
It showed that there were layers underneath of her.
Yeah, I think it fit really well to where it gives it that yin yang to her. Like everybody fears her because she looks different, and really Elphaba is a sweet girl underneath. And I think that does add to that.
She just wanted friends. Actually, she didn't just want friends. She just wanted to meet the wizard. But
yeah.
Let's talk about Ariana Grande.
She like engulfed that character.
I agree.
I mean, who is the original?
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, she like channeled her. Like it was to a T. Like she honed it in, and it's like she's mimicking her completely, but then putting a little twist on it at the end
I'd
to
say
make it hers.
I think that it's very clear that she's taking inspiration from Kristen Chenoweth, but she
Yes.
is 100% making it her own.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel to me like an impression. It seems like she took the inspiration and then ran with it and grew with it
Yeah.
and made it something new and something fresh
Yeah,
and
exactly.
something that Ariana Grande really shines in this movie with is actually her comedic timing along with her singing.
Yes.
Because her comedic timing for her Glinda is by far the best that I've ever seen.
Yes. She was, I mean, she'll crack you up just even if she's a background character. Like
Yeah.
your eye goes to her just because she's so goofy and on brand.
She is on every second that she's
Yeah.
on screen, whether or not the focus is on her or not. And going along with that, another person that I think draws focus really well is actually a lesser important character, Bowen Yang's character, Glenda's best friend.
Oh.
But I thought that he did a really good job. Any scene that he was in, like the script did not do him justice.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he was.
I don't really mind for that. But he really found something to really stick out, or
Mhm.
he found something to do with his character when the script didn't necessarily give him a lot to do.
Yeah.
For instance, Glenda's other friend, I could not tell you a single thing she did.
Yeah.
Other than be like a third wheel to Bowen Yang and Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
But no, Bowen Yang was great. Michelle Yeoh was great. I thought Jeff Goldblum did a good job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think he really had the shiniest role, but he also very much came across as the wizard should afterward.
Yeah,
as mean, just a small man and not the grand scary wizard.
Yeah, exactly. I like to he can portray a good snake oil salesman, and that's what the wizard is. So
I will say I did not need his awkward moon bouncing song, but no spoilers. Let's see, non-spoilers, other cast things. Jonathan Bailey. This is where we have a little bit of discourse. I think Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero was excellent. I think his singing was great. I mean, of course, he is a dancer, so his dancing was the best in the musical, I would say.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that part. I loved how he moved, especially to his solo number. Mm-hmm. And there is a scene where he's like that book.
Yeah.
And I thought all of that was really interesting, the way he moved.
I'd say his dancing through life was very creative and very fun and flirtatious, energetic.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job in that regard.
And I like that they had men and women fondling over him. Yes. Went in his number. Like they did not stray that it was everyone.
It was hot.
So I appreciate that. There's something about him. I don't buy him as a high schooler.
Well, they're not in high school, they're in college.
Or college. I don't buy him as the same age group with the other ones. I don't know what their ages are in comparison. He just seems older.
Listen, he's bougie, he's worldly.
And I don't know, it just didn't click with me, I guess, is the same age bracket. It took me out of it for a second. But I liked him. I don't know who else I would pick. I mean, I don't know anybody else to do it, so
you got to recast him.
I'm not that worried about it because I don't know anybody, so I can't say too much on it.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, moving on to the music. I'm not allowed to sing during this review, so all I will say about the music is that they had a very tall order comparing it to the original. The original is ingrained in everyone's brains going into this movie. Mm-hmm. And originally we were going to do a video comparing the Broadway cast songs to the movie songs to see which ones we personally thought were better. And I'm very pleased to say that I like the movie version better than every single Broadway version. It is not a copy paste. They very much make things their own. It gives it new life. I really like the orchestration in it. A lot of, like, for instance, when we mentioned Mean Girls very much tried to become more pop in its orchestration when it became a movie. But Wicked, it is very much musical theater, but with a deep orchestration behind it. They don't shy away from the source material whatsoever. It's pretty much like the original, but boosted in every single way that it could be.
Two people got vanilla ice cream and one got to get toppings on it.
Yeah.
And the other didn't. I think that is my best comparison to them. It's just like we both started out the same thing, but this one just added more to it.
Yeah. No, the music is incredible. I have been nonstop singing it for days at this point. Send help. But no, Ariana Grande, her timing and popular and is perfect. Her personification of Glinda in that song is Chenoweth elevated. And then, of course, Cynthia Erivo during Defying Gravity is spectacular.
Yeah.
Like I said, filling the shoes of Chenoweth or Menzel is impossible, but they filled the shoes, they walked in the shoes, they strutted in the shoes, they put rhinestones on the shoes. It was 100% what I would have wanted, but not what I expected. Yeah,
it's just they elevate it because they have the technology to put behind it that you don't get on a stage. So it's just bonus.
Yeah. But no, music is incredible. The soundtrack is going to be on loop, and it will be my entire personality for the foreseeable future. But no, I probably will never elect to listen to the Broadway cast version again because the movie is that good. Now, can they do it again for part 2? I don't know.
I hope so, because I hear that the second part of it is the weaker end of the play.
I can't tell you that. Spoilers. But no, typically Act 2 has less content in any type of musical. It has to be shorter or else your audience will be like,
that's so it will be interesting how they do the second part.
Yeah. Well, speaking of long shows and maintaining your audience, one thing I do want to say before we wrap this review up is that, yes, this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it does not feel like it is 2 hours and 40 minutes. In fact, there's not a single second of this movie that I personally would vote to take out. Every second was worth it. Every second gave you something. And I was on the edge of my seat watching energetically, enthusiastically the entire time with a grin on my face and trying very hard not to sing.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the second movie does extremely well too, the way this one's looking like. So that way, I mean, maybe they'll keep going with it.
There's the rest of the Wicked books.
Yeah, there's more books. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing this as some sort of trilogy or something.
Oh, it would be way more than trilogy.
A universe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Universal would love to do that. They would love all of the money that Wicked is getting right now.
Yeah, let's just dive into Oz in general. At this point, just keep this style and keep it going.
The only difficult part is writing way more music for that. But if they're willing to try it, I'm willing to watch it. My only worry is that the fact that this movie is so well done, this is truly lightning in a bottle, and I am terrified that they will be able to replicate this for part 2. Now, I didn't know that it would be this great going into the first one, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. John Chu, Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo have earned my respect and my trust, so I'm just going to assume that the next one's going to be great.
Yeah, I just need more.
Yes, more. So with all of that, as you can tell, it's pretty high rated from both of us, so we might as well get into the ratings. What is your rating? We'll do a scale of 10.
10.
You're doing a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I fear that it's downhill from here. 10 out of 10.
That's true. This is In my written review, I used the quote that this is a masterclass in bringing stage to screen, and I stick by that. This is the best example of it I've ever seen. This will forever be a special movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first movie that I have ever reviewed that I am giving a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
earned it.
I give it a real 10 out of 10 because, they always say, like, leave room for improvement.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think it can be improved upon.
no.
Like, it's downhill from here.
There, like I
If they
said,
don't keep
there's
steady,
nothing
then
that I
it's
would
down.
change because even the stuff that I didn't care as much about, I still found intriguing, and I know that somebody will take something from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so 10 out of 10. And the fact that you can do that and release this movie successfully in today's political landscape is another thing. Like, this movie has truly stood the test of strength. Yeah. So
to comparative to the story, that's
yeah, it is a very culturally relevant story, and you will be leaving the store or leaving the theater thinking, and as you should, as any good movie makes you, it makes you think, and it stays in your brain, and you have a conversation with yourself inside of your head after you leave the theater, days after you leave the theater, and it's definitely a movie that you can have ample conversation about.
Yes. We've been talking about it all day.
We've been talking about it all day yesterday, all day the day before. But yeah, I cannot recommend this movie enough. I will say it is 100% theater worthy. Do not wait to stream it. Go see it in the theater. Not only for the production design, the sound design is better in the theater, but also for the fan experience.
Yeah.
It's super fun seeing people dress up and just be so passionate about this show. But yeah, for Nerd Initiative, I'm LJ.
And I'm Win.
Go see Wicked. Bye.